you know, the consequences of that profession, that's not, I did not cause that. I did not shoot that person, so that's beyond me. So yeah, maybe I'm a little bit more of a dirtbag, but yeah, I would take the money. What about you? Hey, what's up, folks? James and Cuervo from Junkyard Fox. Thank you so much for joining us, and we are out here in the beautiful, cool mountains of New Mexico. We have escaped the hell that is West Texas because our region of Texas has been experiencing a ridiculous heat wave. 40 plus days of consecutive 100-degree weather. And we're talking like 108 one day, 106 the other, 110. And it's just brutal. It's been uncomfortable to be out in the desert. So we finally decided to go camping, but head up here to Cloudcrop, New Mexico, where it's far cooler, about easily 20 plus degrees cooler up here, far more relaxing. So you know the deal. We're doing some camping, cooking up some good food, drinking some cold ones, relaxing, and we're going to be filming a Q&A. So we're answering 10 of your questions. So grab yourself a drink, pull up a chair, and let's get to it. So starting off with question number 1 is asked by Nitsua the Nihilist, who asks, what was the thing that got y'all into Western wear? Mine was Fallout New Vegas / Texas native. So for those of you who don't know, Fallout New Vegas is a video game. So I would say for me personally, the biggest contributor to getting into Western wear originally was honestly pop culture. So I first watched the movie Tombstone when I was about 10 years old. Now, before 10 years old, I was really just interested in watching movies that involved dinosaurs or Batman, of course. But as I'm growing older, I'm appreciating great storytelling and stuff like that. I was able to appreciate a Western. That was like the first Western I got into. Of course, Wyatt Earp and his brothers look really cool they look very proper and gentlemanly with their suits. Then on the other spectrum, we have the Cowboy Gang, and they're very hodgepodge, very raggedy. So, you got a wide mix in terms of like how cool people look, their appearances. And props to the costume department. Props to that movie in general. Great film. And then, of course, I got into other Westerns, such as the spaghetti Westerns of the 60s. Clint Eastwood's The Man with No Name will forever be the coolest mofo in cinematic history. And he looked awesome. And then, of course, we got into like video games. For me, my video game that really got me into Westerns was Metal Gear Solid, with the character of Revolver Ocelot, who's this special forces double agent Russian guy, but he's like obsessed with spaghetti westerns. So the way he dresses, he's got Colt single action revolvers. That's his weapon of choice. Really awesome character. And then, of course, later on, we'd have like Red Dead Redemption games and such. Once again, majority is pop culture that started me into it. And then, of course, later on, appreciation for the Southwest and our history and our mythology and stuff like that. So what about you, Corbin?
I'd have to say it was Lil Nas X, the Barbie movie, Stone Cold Steve Austin. But yeah, it's 100% what James said. A lot of it comes from your environment too. So growing up in the Southwest, you see cowboy hats everywhere, and a mix of like Spanish music and country. It's one of the video games that I think we both really loved and got us into Western wear too is a game called Gun.
Oh yeah, Gun was a great game, yeah.
For the PlayStation 2. That was cool.
Hey guys, James here. I'm editing the video, but I had to dig this up. Now this is one of my comic books that I did back in high school. I must have been about 15 years old when I made this. This is a beat up copy of the original artwork that has long been lost through time. Who knows what happened to it? But this is one of my main characters. This is one of my made up characters at the time. And check him out. Even though I was a teenager and I didn't dress Western, my character definitely did. He'd had a hat. He had boots, though they got cut off here. But let me show you. Now, this comic is, it hasn't aged well. The art hasn't aged well. The story's a little cringy, but check out my character. Definitely had that Western flair to him. Now, it's like a futuristic story, so there's definitely like elements of sci-fi and stuff, but he definitely rocks the old world look that I have always found very cool. So yeah, he has boots too. I recall I had made him with gator boots. So check it out, like right there. So yeah, old school blast from the past here. Right there. So yeah. Some nostalgia right there. 15-year-old James right there. So question number 2 comes from Nelson Costa, who asks, do you and Cuervo ever wear shorts and a t-shirt? Texas looks hot AF. Nelson, your assessment of Texas is very correct. It is always hot, usually even throughout the year. But this summer is even more so than usual. It's extremely brutal this year. Now, to answer your questions, I don't generally wear shorts and t-shirts usually. Now, when you see us on videos, of course, we're out in the field, we're out in the mountains, in the wilderness, and so you see us wearing wide brim hats and long sleeve shirts and jeans and boots. So it may look uncomfortable for someone who's not used to this environment. But basically what we're wearing is armor against the elements, our micro shelter. The wide brim hat, the jeans, they protect us from the burning sun, as also from stinging insects and thorns everywhere, stuff like that. So keep in mind it's protecting us. But whenever we're out in the city, it could be a different thing. Generally, I still don't wear shorts or stuff like that. You won't see me in Daisy Dukes, anytime soon. The only time that I wear something like that in public is on my way to the gym or if I'm going to go swimming. Other than that, you'll see me just at the most just wearing a t-shirt and some jeans and boots. It's just not my style. What about you, Cuervo?
So my idea of cooling off consists of wearing a t-shirt and jeans. That's it. But shorts, no sir. I just find them a little tacky. Sorry. That's just me. And wearing black in this weather is not very conducive to it, but life finds a way. And that's it.
Question number 3 comes from Whiskey Foxtrot 301, who asks, in cowboy movies, the cowboys lay a rope on the ground around their bedroll at night to keep snakes or critters away. Is there any truth to that? No, not at all. This is Hollywood BS. Now, I don't even think this was actually historically a cowboy thing to do. I believe this was just something that was made up back in like the Hollywood Western movies of the 1940s and 50s, They're not... A Hollywood movie is not obligated to be historically factual or anything like that. They're just trying to entertain people. And so you'll see some cowboy that just slices with his Bowie knife through a cactus, and then all of a sudden water starts bursting out like a fountain, which is just complete inaccuracies. So this rope thing, you see it in films like True Grit. It's not... If a snake can slither past a tree, like past a tree stump and boulders, what's a rope going to do? Same thing with bugs. It's not going to do anything. So once again, it's part of just a Hollywood myth. Question number 4 comes from Leos4689. Why don't you carry a firearm? Well, because I don't believe in firearms. I don't like firearms. I don't want you to have firearms. Nothing like that, okay? I'm a libtard, okay? Snowflake, I think that's what people call them. That's a joke, by the way, because it's the internet and people take things at face value. So I'm joking. I do have firearms. I have 3 firearms. I don't show them a lot on videos because Big Brother, Google, likes to demonetize our videos when we show them. And I don't know about you, but I like to get paid for my work. So I hate being demonetized. But we do show them. So, we don't show them often, but you'll see them here and there. So my main one that I carry every time I head outdoors or head out is my Ruger Mark III pistol. I have taken out cottontails, rattlesnakes, ground squirrels, rock squirrels, all kinds of stuff, pigeons with this thing. I also have a 12-gauge shotgun. Once again, can do great for hunting quail and stuff like that. But if I ever need to, home defense and there's an intruder, there's a robber, I got that ready to go. I also have a .22 rifle as well, a Ruger 1022. So for the majority, these are made for hunting. But at the same time, if I have to defend myself, I do have 3 dependable firearms. Now, I am saving up for a SIG P365. That's the gun I'm saving so I can have a, CCW on my person at all times. But, money doesn't grow on trees, sadly. And right now my money's tied up on some certain family events going on. I guess, a wedding that I'm part of. Also, I am fixing up my grandfather's truck that I have inherited. So, my money's tied up. So little by little, I am putting away money. So fingers crossed, when you see my winter 2023 EDC update, you will see me with a SIG P365 little pistols. So there you go. Cuervo?
That's okay. So yeah, I'm in the process of saving up money for a revolver, right?
Taurus?
Yeah, it's a Taurus 357, and it's mostly for self-defense.
This is from Prepared Wolf, who asks, do you plan on designing another knife? As of right now, no. So after designing the Snake Eater, I did play around with the idea of developing my own boot knife design. However, I don't think it's necessary because you don't want to force a design just to make a design. It has to come naturally, and I just think that I have some really good boot knives right now. Maybe in the future I'll revisit the idea of making a custom Junkyard Fox boot knife, but as of right now, I don't really see something planned.
All right, so this question comes from Ricky Valens, 86. Your spirituality is noticed in your music. What influences your spirituality? It's kind of a complex question, I think. Spirituality can come from anything, from the trees to the rocks to the bones we find underground to even the fire that keeps you warm. I always feel like the music is experienced it's more of an experience, where you're going through the emotions of the things and the sounds. They make you feel things, reflections and stuff like that. Even activate memories and stuff like that. So a lot of Cuervo Negro's music is influenced by a lot of that southwestern spirit, it's nature in itself. And also I think it comes from my background. I come from not exposed, but being around a lot of curandismo, which is Mexican medicine folklore, folk. And so yeah, and I mean, spirituality is different for everybody. It comes from different experiences and things like that, even dreams. But it's an interesting question. I mean, I think it's a little too have to break it down and stuff like that for it to make sense. But yeah, thank you. This question is from Three Bears. Cuervo has a lot of cool gear he's made himself, but does he have any musical instruments, guitar picks, flutes, etc. he's made out in a trip and uses? Yeah, actually. So this one time we were filming out here in Cloudcroft, and there was a snowy cliff, and I kept seeing something that was off-white on the ground, where the snow is pure, right, but bone is off white. I don't know if that makes sense, but so I just went down there and I found a horse skull. And I remember a long time ago I was seeing band, I forget their name, but they were like a local band, and they were a folk trio, and one of them was the percussionist, and he was using a horse jaw as a percussionist instrument. So I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I'm gonna do that. And so that I used that instrument in a song called Pretty Deadly. It's on Dust and Bone, the first album, and honestly it's one of the songs I worked a lot on. Like I worked really hard on it to get that sound and to get that rustic and very deadly sound. But yeah, but now talking about crafting and stuff like that, I've made a couple of leather work, and this was a prop used in the Dark Trees music video, and it's a deer
jawbone.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I always try to find the beauty even in the death of things. Where there's death, there's life again. All right, so number 9 comes from Audrey, and she says, "Who does your cover art? Would love to collab one day." So my album covers, the first 3, or the first 2 always came as like at a whim, so there was no predetermined concept for it, except for Coyote songs and From the Desert with Love, which by the way is in our shop now. So if you wanna get a shirt, hat, mug, yeah, they're paintings from my niece Samantha, and she kind of did them on a whim too, and I loved how they had a lot of warm colors and darkness to them, and I felt they really complemented the album's sound, where they have very warm sounds and vocal chords and stuff like that. And if you want to collaborate, I mean, I'm always open. My door's always open for that stuff, and for music too. I mean,
This is a really cool question, and this really made me think. I think this is probably my favorite question of this whole batch. And this is asked by Chris Neves1274, who asks, question, this is for both of you guys. If you're out there camping in the desert and run into a no country for old men situation like a drug deal gone bad, would you take the money and not call the cops? And would you go back and bring one of them water like in the movie? LOL, be honest. Excellent question. Like I said, it made me really think and ponder of who I am as a person, my morality, what I'd be willing to do. And I came to the conclusion that I would take the money. You know, no one's around, everyone's dead. There's $2 million just sitting right there. I'd be a damn fool to not take them and take that opportunity. Now, it may sound very selfish, but we live in a world, in a society that whittles down your finances every opportunity it can, whittles down your independence every opportunity it can. So for me to have this blessing from the gods and not take it, I feel like it'd be very foolish. And I would take the money. Now, what I would do different from Llewellyn Moss and what he did in the movie is, he took it with him and he took it home. I think that you're asking for trouble that way, whether you knew that there was a tracking device on the money or not. Knowing me, what I would do is I would hide the money. I would bury it somewhere, realistically somewhere in the desert. I know a lot of places in the desert. So I would bury it and not visit it. Probably not visit it for years to come and just wait for it, wait it out. Now, either the cartel or whoever it is after the money, if they're able to track it, they're able to dig it up, take the money. They have no reason to find me. They have no reason to find who it was that buried it. They got what was important to them, and they'd leave me alone. That's A. B, if they weren't able to find it, say that transponder isn't able to, through 2 feet of dirt or 3 feet of dirt that it's buried, it's not able to, communicate. I would be able to go and take a couple grand every couple of years whenever I'm needed to, I'm short on money, whatever life throws at you, an injury or something, and I can't work, and I'd have money, and I think I'd be set. I'd be subtle about it. You wouldn't see me like a damn fool driving a Lamborghini the next day, but, paying off something, some debt, whatever the case may be, and I just have that money. And yeah, that's what I would do. Now, as for taking water to the guy later on that night, no, I wouldn't do that. Now, that first moment where Llewellyn found the money, he really only had his rifle and his binoculars, and that was it. I know for a fact that if I'm run into that situation, I'm going to have my haversack and I'm going to have water on me, because I always carry this everywhere. So that guy asking for agua, I'd give him my water because I'm also not a monster. I'd give him some water, and hopefully that, he may find help later on, or it'll just make his transition into the dark easier. So I'd give them this, but I would not go back. I would not take someone home to rehabilitate them or any of that. They chose their profession, okay? So, the consequences of that profession, that's not, I did not cause that. I did not shoot that person, so that's beyond me. So, yeah, maybe I'm a little bit more of a dirtbag, but yeah, I would take the money. What about you, Corvo?
Well, I like to think that I like to live by a code. So I would just do the right thing and turn it in. But yeah, I know it's boring, but I feel like doing the right thing sometimes sucks, or you have to do it whether it sucks or not, and if it even if it hurts. I'd rather have peace of mind than being paranoid my whole life, kind of thing. But yeah, if I would probably give water to this guy too, but that's it. That's where it ends for me. It's like, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you call for help, maybe
Yeah,
the paramedics
sure.
will get there and help the guy. But yeah, well, there you go. Our answers. I thought that was a really cool question. Well, folks, that's about it for your questions. Thank you so much for all of you who chimed on in. It was a really fun time answering these questions. I really love that No Country for Old Men one. That was really smart, and I think everyone's going to answer it different. And you got to really get to know yourself and really ask yourself, how far you're willing to go for certain things, stuff like that. So very interesting. It was very interesting talking about Cuervo spirituality and stuff like that. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions additionally for us to answer in the future, we will be making another Q&A probably around December. So chime on down if you have additional ones. And thank you as always. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Link in the description box down below for our merch store if you're interested in checking out our merch, such as this beauty right here. Also, we just made merch for Cuervo's album From the Desert with Love that we discussed in one of these questions. So check that out as well. And with that being said, thank you so much, folks. We will see you guys next week with another video. We're filming this one and a camping one as well. So stay tuned for those. And we'll see you guys next week. Now go outside and get your boots dirty.